Today we're going over the version 5.3 special program, and I gotta say, this is without a doubt one of the most exciting special programs in years. For the first time ever, we're actually getting 4 new characters in one patch, which is crazy. Not just the new characters, but of course, as we all saw coming, this is the Lan Archon version. There was one decision for version 5.3 I'm honestly not super happy about, but we'll get to that a little later. I'll have the redemption codes in the comments down below if you didn't catch them during the live stream. We start off with a trailer. It's one of the coolest trailers in a long time. We get some quick little sneak peeks of all the characters, some story related stuff, and a new massive boss, which this one definitely has to be the weekly boss, right? There's no world it's not, which honestly would be a little unfortunate. It means Mavuika will most likely need these weekly boss materials for her talents past 6, so it'll take a while to raise her. I don't want to harp on the trailer too long because it's mainly going to be me going ooh ah. So yeah, jumping into the new content, we do of course have chapter 5, the new Archon quest. This one of course does focus a lot on Mavuika and her continued fight against the Abyss, which makes sense. This is kind of her version. One thing they mentioned, which I thought was interesting, is that Mavuika is the only Archon that was once human, which yeah, if you've been paying attention to the story, is not new information, but still an interesting little tidbit there. Without further ado, let's talk about the characters now. Of course, starting with Mavuika and her absolutely insane movement mechanics. It was kind of to be expected, not only her being a Lan character, but the Lan Archon. She can zoom around quickly on the ground and climb mountains like Xiangling. She can surf like Mualani and fly like Chaska. Basically the best of all movement abilities. They didn't show too much. If I were to guess though, she's not going to be as good as the individual characters are at their specific movement mechanic. So like a jack of all trades, master of none sort of deal. I'd be happy to be proven wrong though. Moving on to her combat kit though, it looks absolutely insane. She has like 2 different fighting styles. She can be in Claymore mode, acting more as an off-field pyro applicator, which just by itself is amazing because we definitely need more off-field pyro applicators. Xiangling is great and I'm sure she'll continue to be great, but a little competition doesn't hurt. I went into my editing program and it looks like this off-field pyro application happens once every 2 seconds. We'll see if that's fast enough, but I'm also curious to know how many gauge units it applies, if it's the standard 1 or maybe like 1.5 like Nahida's. For that, we'll have to wait and see. She can also use that same elemental skill to hop on her bike and basically become an on-field DPS. I don't think they talked about how you choose what to do, maybe tap or hold. Here they're showing off more of their movement abilities, again, just absolutely insane. And something even cooler is that her exploration passive reduces the cooldown of the like unique swap mechanic in Lan. Again, it is very sad it's useless outside of Lan, but still cool while you're in Lan. Next, Mavuika's burst is incredibly unique. I could have sworn someone in Star Rail worked similar, but yeah, she doesn't need energy for her burst. She relies on something else called Fighting Spirit. And you can use her burst without it even being full. She gets this Fighting Spirit by other Lan characters using Night Soul points and or just normal attacks. So she's not strictly forced to be in teams with other Lan characters, but I assume it's more efficient that way. And of course, the more fighting spirit she has at the time of using her burst, the stronger it'll be. Her burst does start out just being an attack, but it's also a transformative burst in that the power of her motorcycle attacks also becomes stronger. Not only that, but her actions don't consume Night Soul points and her resistance to interruption is increased. And finally, she has some really nice combat passives. Her first one being an attack buff to herself when a Night Soul burst happens, and the second one being a damage buff to the on-field character based on her fighting spirit. So yeah, she really can just be a buffer / pyro applicator or a straight up main DPS, maybe a little bit of both in the same team. We'll have to wait and see for the exact values on all this stuff and how good she's going to be in one role or the other. But yeah, no surprise, Pyro Archon sounds strong. And yeah, her burst mechanic, obviously very interesting, unique. But yeah, that's Mavuika, at least a general overview. Next up, I know a lot of people are excited for Citlali as well. I don't think I'm saying her name right, but you know who I mean. Exploration wise, she's pretty similar to Auroron in that she does have like this high jump, but with her pillow there, she can also kind of fly like Chaska. Also like Auroron, and yeah, it does kind of make sense they're similar lore-wise, but she can do the little aim mode stuff for the puzzles as well. Exploration-wise, she does seem to be a pure upgrade from Auroron. So she has 2 companions, the pillow she's always holding on to, called Citlali, and the smaller little floating dude there called Its Papa. I guess. I don't know, man. Leave me alone. Trying to be a professional here. Her normal attacks have her basically throwing Citlali at enemies, dealing cryo damage, so it's pretty safe to assume she is a catalyst user. Her elemental skill not only summons the other one, but it also gives herself a shield, and then she'll enter Night Soul mode. And it looks like when her Night Soul points are at around half, the little Its Papa pet will become enraged, and you can see a pretty large like AoE of cryo damage. Her burst just starts with dealing damage, but also commands both pets to attack the enemy, and she will also recover some Night Soul points, basically extending the duration of this large AoE field. One of the very interesting things about her is Also, like Auroron, she can remain in Nightsoul mode while she's off field. Besides that, she is a res shredder. Sadly, it's only for hydro and pyro damage and only when the opponents are affected by frozen or melt. So I'd say this passive alone almost straight up locks her into a melt team. I guess a freeze team as well, but freeze is a little mid these days. Maybe I'm missing something, but I am a little surprised she doesn't also reduce cryo res, being a cryo character and all. And yeah, apparently the res is decreased only for that singular melt attack, or I guess while they're frozen, so you could maybe do both, like freeze plus melt team. I know that's a thing. I guess it'll depend on how much res she shreds. Like, yeah, if it's the typical 40%, I'd probably just specifically use her in a melt team with, of course, a pyro DPS being the trigger. If she can apply a lot of cryo, I think it would be good. But yeah, as usual, it's the finer details, the things they don't say here, that can really make or break a character. For the third new character of version 5.3, we have Lan Yan, apparently laid back and believes happiness is the top priority in life, which is my philosophy as well. But yeah, haven't seen too much of her. She is a 4-star, I guess, after all. She's an Anemo character, and while they don't specifically say it, I'm pretty sure she's Catalyst because her normal attacks are dealing Anemo damage. Her elemental skill gives herself a shield, she'll rush forward, and upon hitting an enemy, she'll jump back. She does have a very interesting mechanic though, in that the shield she creates can absorb an element, and then her basic attacks will become infused with that element. I guess a bit Chaska-esque in that she can fire all sorts of different elements. Her burst, like most Anemo bursts, has some CC, it'll pull enemies together in a small area. I think she could especially be a pretty good user of the Viridescent set, as she herself can attack with different elements. Her exploration passive makes it so where you don't scare away crystal flies. If this works exactly the same as Sayu's, I think it was, I think it's pretty trash because as soon as you pick one crystal fly up, every other crystal fly in the area will start running away anyway. That is a hill I'm going to die on, even though it seems a lot of people disagree with me. And finally, the fourth new character, we're finally getting Pyro Traveller. They show a tiny, like 3-second snippet of gameplay, but don't talk about his kit at all, so obviously not much I can say either. We can see Traveller also has Nightsoul mode, and I guess would be considered a Natlan character for the other mechanics like Nightsoul bursts, but yeah, no point speculating too much right now. They actually do show a little more Pyro Traveller gameplay versus the new what I'm assuming is the weekly boss. Honestly does look pretty damn cool. He has like ranged pyro blade attacks there. This new boss is apparently weak to Nightsoul aligned attacks and pyro specifically. Wink wink, nudge nudge. But I guess Pyro Traveller should also fill that role pretty well now. But okay, let's go ahead and talk about the banners. This is the thing I'm not super happy about. Both Mavuika and Citlali are coming at the same time, both in phase 1. I might be a little biased as a creator, but that's just stressful. It's also stressful for people that just want both. There's just less time to grind primogems. And for me, even though Citlali does look pretty cool, I am of course going to have the bigger focus on Mavuika to start, especially if they both need the new weekly boss mats. There's just not going to be enough time or resources to focus on them equally. We'll of course get new weapons for both of them as well. And where does Lan Yan fall into all of this? Well, she'll either be with Arlecchino or Chlorand in phase 2. So yeah, she's the new character of phase 2. I mean, of course, Arlecchino, a very good unit and all, but like, damn. Besides that, Chronicled Wish is finally coming back and they're loosening the requirements to be featured here. In fact, so much so that we do have a brand new character called Sheen He or something. You can also get all of their signature weapons. Most of them I don't think are very good though, especially the yellow ones here. Jade Cutter's pretty good in general though. Also, as Lantern Rite is coming back, we also get another free 4-star, Lan Yan included. That's of course going to be my pick, as I'm pretty sure everyone else is C6 here. For most players, I imagine it's going to come down to a decision between Xingqiu and Xiangling though. We also do get some nice Lantern Rite rewards, basically 2 tin pulls along with some other stuff. They also say the Xbox Wind Gliders will be distributed to all players via in-game mail for a limited time, so that's pretty neat. Besides that, we also got some new outfits, starting with Hu Tao's. I think it's a very nice outfit. It does look more Christmassy than Lantern Rite-y, but you know, Christmas is close. Xiangling gets a new one as well, again, very Christmas-like. I didn't see any hints these would be premium outfits, like we literally still only have one Diluc. Does Genshin hate money? Why don't they make any more premium outfits? This is crazy. Also, insanely crazy, Zhongli has money. Apparently it's not actual money though, it's like a coin, and you can exchange these coins with this large coin object thing. The Lantern Rite event itself, I guess, has been upgraded. We're starting with a puzzle mode that looks very much like Puyo Puyo. Please give us Tetris at one point. I mean, you did the Puyo Puyo, give us Tetris now. You can even duel people in co-op mode. Man, I would kill everyone in Tetris, but I'm not that good at Puyo Puyo. Next up, we got a combat mode with various mechanics. I don't want to dive too deeply into it, honestly. Apparently the scores this time can get pretty damn high though. Next part of Lantern Rite is creating some gift envelopes I guess you can give to your friends. You can even like customize them, it's pretty cute. You can also stock up on some more Shao Lanterns if you so wish, up to 1,000. Next thing, which is pretty hype, is a new permanent game mode, and and one I'm honestly more excited for than TCG. Rhythm Game. We've had many Rhythm Game events and they've always been some of my favorite, but it's here to stay now. Look at how many songs they have as well. So many different options you can change as well. Of course, you can also like edit and make your own custom beat maps as it was for the other events. But yeah, it's permanent now. Separate from that, we'll have some new open world challenges in Natlan, some pretty specific objectives, but like coin collecting, you know how it go. And the last event, On the Trail of Behemoths, like they were really emphasizing how hard this event can be, which gets me kind of hype. I like challenging stuff. Unless there are more than these 4 bosses though, I'm not sure they're gonna make super good test dummies because they all have pretty specific mechanics that require like special elements. I lied, there's one more event. Beetle Battle is back and apparently we can fight Abyss Mages, assuming other monsters as well. Double talent books and weapon materials as well, and just everything is open during the event, which is quite convenient, especially when we're gonna have 2 new 5 stars dropping at the same time. Genshin, why did you do that though, man? It makes me sad. And now for my generally favorite part of special programs, the system optimizations. With one in particular this time being very cool. We have a training guide shortcut and the layout has been updated. To be totally honest, I haven't really used this that much, but yeah, it's cool for those that like it. Also very cool, 300 extra artifact inventory. I am constantly at cap for some reason. No matter how much storage they give us, it'll never be enough, but 300 more is still cool. And the coolest one, in my opinion, there's no need to teleport away from bosses anymore. They will instantly respawn while you're just standing there. That's amazing. Ever since they introduced the 10-second respawn time, I was always thinking, why can't they just respawn here? But maybe that's not like Genshin enough, but it is now, let's go. So I very much appreciate that change. Thanks a lot for that. Kazuha and Ganyu get their little Echo cosmetic, new cards for TCG. They also gave us a sneak peek of what's to come after version 5.3. And again, one very interesting thing in particular. First though, there is another tribe in Natlan we haven't met yet. 7 silhouettes of, I'm assuming, playable characters. I'll be totally honest, the only one I recognize is the first one. We've seen her a lot. I forgot her name at the moment, I'm sorry. The rest don't really ring a bell. We have this dude with a cowboy hat. I don't know if I've ever seen a cowboy hat. The second to last character here, not gonna lie, I kind of like them for whatever reason, I'm not sure. Maybe it's the horns. There's apparently a mysterious area called Nod Karai. They say it'll be vastly different from the other 6 nations. And finally, the thing that sounds the most exciting to me is the new gameplay preview. They say with this module, you can unleash your creativity to turn what's already in Genshin Impact into your own unique gameplay stages. They say you can invite your friends to play with strangers to solve puzzles, fight, or compete. Could we make our own test dummies, please? They're very light on the details, unfortunately, but since we can fight, and maybe we can choose what to fight, you know, that would actually be pretty cool. But yeah, there's version 5.3. It'll be launching on the 1st of the new year, actually, which is a nice, I assume, coincidence. I don't know about you nerds, but I know what I'm doing for New Year's. But yeah, that's it. Was a super packed one this time. Tons of stuff to talk about. Just a huge, really exciting update overall. Again, I am a bit disappointed that, you know, both new 5 stars come at the same time. Would have been super nice if they separated them, but it is what it is. Mavuika, I'm really looking forward to digging into her kit some more. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Leaving a like or subscribing to the channel are always greatly appreciated as well. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.